speak
Hi,
English.
everyone.
Okay.
Hello, Irina. How are you?
Hi, Victoria. I'm well.
And hello, everybody who is with us today. I am Victoria Bularda, the founder of Women of Success, and I'm pleased to have as a guest Irina Mihaela Benedict. Irina has a lot of accomplishments. I would say only she is an engineer by formation, electrical and electronics engineer. And she had a great career in that direction when she decided to have her own business. And now she presents herself like speaker, writer, business owner, intuitive healer, and founder of Entrepreneur-Enlightenment Academy. And speaking about the academy, when you go in the home of the website of Entrepreneur-Enlightenment Academy, Irina is inviting you to read more about and to know more about her services with two questions. Do you wish to become truly free and have a thriving business? Are you willing to reinvent yourself and your business? So, do you understand, Irina? Did you reinvent yourself after engineering with your own business?
Well, I reinvented myself many times, like big reinventions at least 5 times. At least 5 times, because I don't know how much of the history you want to know, but I grew up in an abusive environment. So I grew up like not going to school and skipping classes and not studying. And then despite of that, I had this feeling that I have to go to university, which was totally like I was grade 8, I was last in the class, if you can imagine that. So then that was the first reinvention when I had this knowing as a teenager that I have to go to university. So I don't know how I studied. It's a miracle to me because I studied math and physics from zero to get into the university. So that was like the first reinvention.
Interesting.
Yeah, then I finished university with like top marks, which again, I find it's a miracle. I don't know how I've done it. I feel, I feel that I've been guided all my life.
Or you like it, what you learn?
And I liked the environment. Like I like it was a different, there was a different thing than what I knew before. So I enjoyed the process
Mm-hmm.
of being good at something, right? And then I ended up in nuclear engineering from all engineering. You like we both grew up in Romania, and when I finished university, the and I finished after communism was gone. So all the job listings said men in bracket. And all my colleagues, because in engineering, we were like 10 ladies and 90 guys.
Nice.
And all of my colleagues, they went to be secretary. And I said, like, I didn't busted my chops for 5 years in university to become a secretary. So that's how I kind of ended up in nuclear engineering.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that was the first reinvention which drove you to achieve a job. Well, you like it, I suppose.
Yeah, I
Uh,
loved it. I love learning, right? So I loved being there, and I love doing things with other people. So when I worked at Cernavoda in Romania, the nuclear reactor, we were just starting it. So everything was like a celebration. We're doing it, we're starting it, it's going to work. So that's why I liked it. And then the next reinvention was when I decided to come to Canada.
mhm.
And again, new culture, everything is different. Luckily for me, I still stay in nuclear engineering because I was kind of known in my
Mhm.
industry. So then when I came to Canada, I was invited into nuclear, and I stayed there and I built a career to senior management and acting director. So that was like a second reinvention.
So, and you achieve maybe more than what you were thinking when you decided to immigrate, probably.
Yes, like I remember when I got my first offer, I was living with some Romanian friends, and they couldn't believe, like they were in Canada for a few years, so they couldn't believe the offer, and I didn't know any better because to me it didn't make any difference. And then in that career, and it's again because I'm a very practical person, so I applied myself in practical ways, project management. I'm driven, I'm determined, and I achieved like great success. Yes, more than I would have thought. And when I got to be department manager, I took that business and it was about 1.2 million, and I raised it to 7 million in 2 years.
Wow.
Like, just like, and you know what, like now I know business from the business side,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I had a knowing. I If you can believe, I issued newsletters,
Mhm.
and I have never heard, like now in the business and the marketing is the newsletter, I have never heard of this concept, but I issued newsletters to my clients in nuclear engineering.
Yeah. So probably your creative side came up.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Probably.
you are an achiever, and as I know you, and probably it was something. Let's do something different.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was bragging about the projects and what we can do for them. So that was something, that was what gave me I mean, I was always entrepreneurial. Like even in university, I used to go to Poland and make some deals. I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I was always entrepreneurial. And in my corporate career, I had this entrepreneurial approach. I didn't wait for someone to tell me what to do. Like I would do it, I would go present it to the executive, and I have this idea, and it really worked. And also another interesting thing that I've done, I did training, like these online courses
Yeah.
now that
Yeah.
that we do in business. I invented that in nuclear engineering, if you can imagine. So I had clients from Korea, they were coming. I love to do retreats. Well, I
Yeah.
used to do them in the corporate. Like we had clients from Korea, from all of the reactors. They came to our company for a few days,
Yeah.
and we did training with them.
Nice, nice. So it is a reason in Canada we learn when we want to switch a career, we should use our transferable skills. So maybe you just discover when you were in a role of engineer, you have these skills. And after that, that helped you to make a decision to go in business, or no,
Yes,
not
like
that was
as
the moment.
towards the end of my career, because I am entrepreneurial, and also I have this willingness to help people break through. Like I cannot, if somebody goes can I just like, no, we have to break through, right? So I applied those things in my corporate career. But of course, some people come to work and they like to progress, and some
Yeah.
people come to work to get a paycheck and go home and don't be bothered. And I felt like I wanted to do more and more in this direction, in helping people succeed. And also when you are entrepreneurial, again, the system sometimes locks you in because you
Hmm.
cannot do certain things. So I felt that desire to be free, and freedom is my top value, as you said. I had that desire to be free and do my own path and do my own thing and spend time on the things I really, really love.
Hmm. So how your what was the moment in your career when you decided maybe I should be a business owner, maybe I should be a businesswoman? Like, yeah, you acknowledge for yourself you are more entrepreneurial than manager, doesn't matter what level in a corporation. But what was the moment? What helped you to make that decision?
So do you see this is the angel wing?
Yeah. Can you show
Well,
to us more? A little.
so I went for an
Yeah.
angel reading.
Wow. Yes, beautiful. So that is your
And
wall.
this is my wall. I have to actually this. So I went for an angel reading. And the practitioner said, I see you in a teaching. I see you like you are going to go someplace else. And I say, like, look, like I'm in nuclear engineering, like it's only 3 or 4 places in the whole, like there is no place there where I go. And he said to me, no, I see you teaching, I see you in front of people, I see you leading groups. And yeah, that's so I said, okay. And that was a while before the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Then during that time, like maybe after 2 months, or let's say from that, maybe two or months or so, my company that I was work at was coming up for sale. So there was a sale,
Mm-hmm.
a transfer of ownership. And what they said is that everybody, all the management is going to be so-called fired, and you have to apply for a job. It's a formality when a company gets sold, especially for the management.
Yes.
So when I heard that, something clicked with what that person told me. And I felt that I have to go and see this person again. And it was a Friday, and it was like hard to find the person. But I went and I found a spot because he was doing some readings at the fair in Oakville, actually. So I went and I say, like, this is what's happening. What do you feel? And he says, don't you see the writing on the wall? And this is your way out. This is your out. This is what you've been waiting for. And I got it. And then I went to work, and we had to apply, to put the resume to apply, and I didn't. So
Uh-huh.
I went, so I had like interview today to see if I'm going to be kept in the management team. And I walk into interview, like 6 or 7 people around the table. And I walk and they said, we haven't received your resume, And I said, because I'm not applying for the job. And there was, I remember, like it was yesterday, I had emotion, like I was at the door trembling, like what the heck am I doing? Like I had a high paid job with benefits, and I was well seen in the industry, right? So, and that gentleman said, are you sure? Like, have you get an advisor or someone? And I said, no, I'm sure. And I don't know if I was sure or not, but I didn't look back. So
But
that's
you
how.
didn't have a plan in that moment, Irina.
No, I had like I was going from I was a certified coach, but I was not making any money. I was not doing anything on the side at all. So I went from that to zero income.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the story is longer because at that time we also bought land, and we wanted to move and build a house. So it made sense from where I stood, like from the perspective. But I don't advise now, if I ever work with someone that is in corporate and they want to start their business, I say, let's make a plan, because really to go from a big paycheck, from being somebody to being nobody, that was really painful. Like I didn't know how painful it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Be a nobody. It
So,
was very
so
painful.
because you touched this point, how it was for you the beginning of your business?
Hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was because it was a loss of identity. Like in the nuclear engineering, I was in top 15 in the whole world, 1-5, because
Mm-hmm.
in my specialty, and everybody knew my name. So when I started to be in an office, we had a office on the main street in a city in Ontario, and like no, the phone was not ringing, nobody,
Very
and
quiet.
I'm
Very quiet.
very quiet. I used to manage people and everybody in my office, like I didn't have a moment to myself. And now the phone was not ringing, the nobody knew my name. And I went for networking. We were talking about networking. Actually, networking is what kind of saves me, if you may. I went to networking, and from all the people I connected with, some project management kind of type of the people that I knew from the past. And then slowly kind of I started to build, but it was painful, very painful for me.
I understand. So, in a way, I think that experience is very good for you to understand the business owner. Doesn't matter in what stage they are, because it's like a circle, yeah, like a cycle where even they are in startup or they were last year in pandemics, yeah, and they didn't
Mhm.
know what to expect. So even they had maybe 10 years in the business, they weren't sure, okay, what to do now. So you are able in that moment to give to them a hand to
Yeah.
recognize the situation and how to act.
Yes, and one situation I had, one of my clients, she sold her business of
Mm-hmm.
30 years. She was in that business. She was
Yeah,
in that business since she was teenager,
I'm glad
because
you touched that point. Yeah.
it was a family business, right? And it was very clear for her that selling the business is the way. But then it came those fears that I was talking about: loss of identity, loss of status, loss of knowing what to do. So what I did with her, because now I have experience, we built her purpose driven business. We built the concept, we built that she felt it inside of her while the sale was going on, because the sale took a year, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even more, right? Because it was a
Yeah.
larger company, and also was during the pandemic,
Yeah. Yeah.
when the sale was just started to be negotiated. So she thought she's going to even lose the sale because
Yeah.
of that, but no, her industry worked. So I helped her build that because I knew what's coming for her. I knew this loss of identity and this loss of feeling that, what do I do now? So yeah.
So, speaking the fact you reach a high level of management in your career, how you will define success for a career woman, Irina?
So success is to love what you do, basically. It's like, is because while I was in that career, I loved it. Like, there was no part of me that wishes to be somewhere else. But towards the end, I was starting to feel a bit of burnout,
Mm-hmm.
like not that much, like I felt a bit constricted, not that much happiness, right? So success is not only monetary. I've seen so many people, Victoria, they have money and they're like totally depleted, totally not at peace with themselves. So success is to be at peace. And to me also, success is to have freedom. Like, freedom is my top value, and freedom to create. Like, we grew up in communism, so we have freedom as a value. But freedom doesn't only mean to not be constricted by
Yeah.
walls or by
Yeah.
a system. Freedom means to know that you can take the day and paint. I'm not a painter, I'm a writer, but that's what came to me. To know that you can do things that you absolutely gives a joy to your soul. It's not only about work
Yeah.
hard, do more, more, more. And also, like, talking about the same client, because she's an achiever, she immediately after the sale, she wanted do. But I said, like, and she did well when she sold the business. I said, takes 3 months, woman. Takes 3 months and just enjoy life. So success is not only do and go. It's about feeling at peace, feeling fulfilled. And in my case, if you know me, it's also feeling that you're fulfilling your
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Correct. Yeah, I totally agree, Irina, and you say it so well. Thank you for that. So, talking about a tough start in business, and you started to networking. Uh, During that time or later, did you receive a very good piece of advice? What was that uh, that
Piece of
advice?
advice. No, actually, it's not was that really I received a piece of advice. I did join like a mastermind group.
Okay.
I like for 2 years actually, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that, and I joined it. I actually had almost zero income, and I was paying from what do you call when you save money from savings, right?
Savings, yeah.
And it was not like an easy investment, but I started to feel human again because now you have a group of people that you can talk about. This is hard, this is good, this is bad. How do you do that? And actually, I remember the first time when I went and I like it was like a sort of a retreat, let's say. So I was at the table with other coaches, and they were
Mm-hmm.
from states, other places, and I was asking like, what do you charge or how do you do? And I realized that I was like the lowest. So that to me, if you say one piece is to know your value, is also like that could have said to know your value is a good piece of advice in business, right? Because I came from that corporate background, but when I priced my services, I priced them like a newbie
Yeah.
because I felt I'm new in the business. And when I masterminded with those people that had way less experience than me, they were charging 4 or 5 times more.
More.
When I came home, I changed that.
So that was your haha moment, let's say.
Aha moment, big aha moment. And the funny thing, I came home and in 2 days I had a new client at the higher price. And
Prices.
I want to say she was Romanian, not someone but that it was just that happened to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I totally understand, and I can rely with that because in the past I had few clients which exactly as you said, if they don't understand what values they have and they consider everyone can do what they do, in that moment they don't put on the map of the competition correctly.
Yeah.
That is the, and we'll talk a little bit later about the businesswoman in general,
Mhm.
because I know you are working with men and women, so you can see some similarities and differences as well. So, what you consider to be the most difficult attempt you have had since you began your business, excluding the beginning?
The most difficult attempt.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say I don't know if I should talk about this, but when I started the business, I started it with now my ex, and without understanding, like now I have so much wisdom, but at the beginning, of course, I didn't have. It was very hard because we created a role for him and a role for me that were not matching our personalities. So it was very hard for me because I was supposedly be the business manager of his business, and
Uh-huh.
I was trying to make him do what I would do, but my personality and his personality totally different. So what I understood, and now I have the wisdom, is that we need to know ourselves very well and what we can do, what is in our natural flow. And the same with people, because businesses have people that work for them, and don't try to make someone fit in a role if they don't have natural inclination, and no matter how hard you try, you're not going to change another human. So that was my most difficult attempt.
Very interesting. So, how you advise your clients regarding a situation, not similar situation, but where they try to fit an employee, for example, in a role where actually that employee doesn't have any
Yeah.
natural, to say, without having something born as a
Yeah.
skill or
So
aptitude.
this is one of the things I love advising my business clients, because like anytime I work with businesses with teams, this is like I cannot wait to get everybody. Like I do some profile testing, but also because I have intuition and I connect with the person's purpose. So for
Mhm.
example, I had one client, she was in tech, and I went, she had like 8 people. So I went to the office, I had profiling, but then I sat down with each employee. So I would ask them. So for one guy comes to my mind. So I would ask, so what did you do before? And he was in sports and playing soccer and was like very ambitious. So I looked at his role, which was nothing to do with ambition. It was like more like checking boxes without giving details, right? So just by seeing that person purpose, like I could see the ambition in him. It was not to check boxes. So he, if then I talked with the owner and she changed the role. But if she would have kept him with the check the boxes, there could be few things. Either he got depressed, or he would move
Yeah,
from to another company, or there will be some sort of friction, right? Because
yeah.
we all are born and our experience lead us to something that were really good. And I don't care, people say, well, they're just employees. No, like everyone is fulfilling a purpose, even the cleaning. Like there has to be a purpose, there has to be a purpose. A very interesting story is that I was to hire a gardener. Like you say,
Yeah.
what's
Mm.
the skill for gardening? So there was a lady that came and she was unemployed and homeless, and I felt sorry and I almost wanted to hire her because of feeling sorry. But I said, no, my principle is that the person has to have purpose. Next person I interview, young lady, just started her landscaping business, and my check was her first check. So it's just like it felt so aligned, right? So it's
Mhm.
not just there who cannot pull weeds. No, there is a purpose behind it.
Categorically. Yeah. So, can you share with us some, like, what kind of projects do you have in this moment? Because you have the academy, you have your the business one-on-one with your clients and groups, but in the same time you are writing.
Oh, yeah, I'm writing my second book, and it's about relationship, and it's exactly about this, how to, like, it's addressed to owners with teams. I'm now working with owners with teams, 5 to 50 people in the team, and it's about this, how to align everyone in the business with the purpose. And also the business owner, the purpose evolves in time. Like my purpose evolved in time, so even
Mhm.
the business owner, and then there is the purpose of the business evolves. So it's how to align everyone with their purpose, how to create peace in the company, like relationships. It's a very interesting topic, relationships, because it's always teaches us where we need to grow, what we need to understand. So even a conflict, or even if it's a resentment, if you put it under the carpet, is going to reduce the profit of the company. I don't care, like I've seen people and they say, I'm tough, I can take it. No, you got to resolve it. So I'm writing, and my writings are for the person who is very kind hearted, like the business owner who is very kind-hearted, because there are business owners that are just like cutthroat, kind of like tough. I feel they can use other leadership skills, but I talk about people who really care about people, right? Who would not fire someone because they care so much. So that's the book I'm writing about relationships
Very
in
interesting.
business. Mhm.
And I know also you are preparing, like you'll have an event regarding decisions.
Yes, I have an event. I am doing it a few Fridays. I was guided by the angels. I usually don't do free events because I feel that people, if they don't pay a little bit, they may not be as committed, or they think there is no value. But I was guided to do free events. So Fridays at 11:30 Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone who has to make a business decision is welcome. I guide through a process, and I even go a little bit with the intuition and
Wow. So you
meditation.
invite us, yeah?
Yes, please, I do. I please come. There is like a few Fridays in a row.
So Irina, if you will be again to choose between career and business, what will you choose and why?
Between career and business,
Yes.
I would always do business. Like I think I'm unemployable right now because I'm also very strong-headed, and I believe all the pioneers are a bit strong-headed. And unless you are lucky and you are in a company that is innovative and allows you, gives you free reign, then yes. But I personally feel, and also another thing I've learned, not everybody is entrepreneurial, even if you're very creative and innovative. I learned this also the hard way. There are some people who cannot take risks, like who have a really need for stability. And even if they are very innovative and creative, real business is not for them. Like they would need to be employed by someone who appreciates their values. So I can take risks sometimes, maybe too much, but yeah, that's, I can take risk, and I'm too strong-headed and too many ideas. And also with the guidance and the intuition, sometimes something that logically makes sense, I feel intuitively that is a no. So that would be very hard to explain to a boss, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's a very good point what you said. The entrepreneur spirit, it's reacting differently in a company, but also listening you, I was thinking you find for any professional to the end of their career, if they have these entrepreneurial skills, that is the top of the top, like to have their own consultancy business or to experience in a way a business.
Yeah, as I said, I learned the hard way that not everybody is meant to have a business, but and also not everybody is meant to fulfill their purpose through their career.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There are people who have very talented children, and their purpose is to raise those talented children and put them on a good path. There
Mm-hmm.
are people who their purpose is to do volunteering work and serve through the heart, that maybe is not like monetary per se, but there is a purpose for everyone. And that's one of the things I tell, and all the ladies that are listening, never ever ever compare yourself with any other woman or any other person by that means, because it is so. And if you look in the history of all the people who did something, right, there were painters that people say you're a loser, and then they are celebrated. And there were many ways. There are many ways. Or there was that teacher that taught that blind woman that became famous. I don't remember the name, but everyone has a purpose, and is not always necessarily through the career or through the business. Mine is, and I always knew that. I don't even have children because of that, because I made a choice. I made a
Mm-hmm.
conscious choice that this is. And I don't know if you know or if you ask me, but also I have planned a foundation for abused children.
Yeah,
And
I know that. And if you can share more about that, will be great.
and I just share it from this context that we were talking. So when I chose to not have children, I chose my career, my professional life. But life has a way. It's coming back at me because at that time I didn't quite know. Now it's telling me I gotta gather enough people, be successful enough, have enough capital, enough money to organize a foundation for abused children. And guess what? That will also help me have children in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So that life, isn't it life interesting though?
Always, always. And I found like what you mentioned, this foundation can be like a great engine for everything you are doing in your business, I can say.
It's are you intuitive as well?
Yeah,
Because that's what I am told. That's what I'm told. Like really, and it feels, because it's like, who is me? Who is I to have a foundation? Like, you always think about, like Bill Gates or like people like that. And it's coming and it's coming and it's coming daily. And even you saying that, like my intuitive healer said exact same words to me. And yeah, so it seems that I will have a foundation, and with the horse healing therapy for children. And
very
one of my
interesting.
my very first clients in the academy, she's a painter, and she gave me a painting with a horse. That is like the first thing for the foundation.
Wow, wow. So you started already, even without knowing.
Yes, and another client of mine is going to come and sit with me, so we do the vision for the foundation.
Yeah. So because you mentioned all these and you name yourself like a healer, so how came this in your mind to use um, your healing um, coaching to put the foundation for some of the entrepreneurs you come across?
So how it came to me? It
Yeah.
came in my head. So I was doing, the first time when I started coaching, my coaching practice was called Strategic Achievement Coach, which is very kind of corporate. And I was having like a group of 5, 6 people in my office. As I said, I had an office on a main street. And I heard in my head, do a meditation. And I was talking to my head like, I never took meditation. I don't do meditation. I don't know what meditation is. I said, do a meditation. So okay, so I did. Close your eyes, like from the TV, but I have never actually taken courses at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I had like 5 or 6 people, and they were meditating, and afterwards they said, oh, I felt that down my spine, and I felt that, and I feel so relieved. And I said, okay, good, it works. The next day, I had a Skype call with a
Yeah.
client in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard in my head, do a meditation. I said, okay, you're going to tell me my energy is going to go all the way from Canada to Russia, going to do something to this person and come back to me. It did. It did. We did the meditation. She felt a relief. There was something happening. And then maybe not even 2 months after, the guy that gave me the angel messages, he needed a space to do his workshop about angel communication, and said, can I come and do the workshop at your space? And he said, do you want me to pay, or would you like to be in the course? I said, okay, I'll be in the course. And in that course, we were to do partner, because that's like how to learn. And I had a partner in front of me, and I was scanning her body, and I kept saying her foot in my mind's eyes beside her, like her foot beside her. I kept saying. So after we done the exercise, I said, I don't know why, but I kept seeing your foot. And she said, I have a displaced hip.
Wow.
And at that time I said, okay, there is something about something.
So that was the moment when you decided to learn more about and to
Yeah.
understand your capacities as well as a
It's
healer.
the funny thing is that I learned to understand that I have it.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I learned to have it. I just, by doing this, and I've done a few other courses where we were paired and I would read for someone. At one of them, I even had, like I had somebody's grandfather came, and I was describing, and the person said, "Oh, that's my grandfather," So this is kind of, because people say, how do you go from being engineer to being a healer?
Yeah.
By experience, by, like, I've seen things so many times that I don't doubt them anymore. Like sometimes I have a client and I just do this, and it's like something is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm
Very.
still I'm still making fun of it, and I'm still finding it amusing in a sense. But somebody said, oh, you work in nuclear engineering now, you work with no you worked with radiation, like energy.
And now you are working with the bioenergy.
Yeah, so it's just like it's the same, right?
So, because we mentioned previously, you have clients, businessmen and businesswomen. Do you find something particular to work with each category?
Not really. I would want to say yes, but not really, especially for the men that do come. What I see, it's maybe because of who I am and the way I work. Every business coach works in a different way.
Of course.
But I always see, because I work, like, I don't know how the universe works, but it sends me people who were also abused in their childhood or who had some trauma, right? And the everybody that had that trauma has lack of confidence, very hard on themselves, not knowing their value, wanting to please everybody, put everybody first and have no boundaries, like at work. Like I save presidents from their team
Mm-hmm.
because, like, the president works for everyone. No, no, no. So I see similarities, and in the men that do choose to work with me, I assume, I know, because I worked in nuclear engineering with a lot of men. Not all the men, but the men who would come to someone who knows they do energy healing, and that it's a different personality than
Of
a
course.
man who will just be, oh, mom, like, I know it all, or so. In that aspect, I don't see a big difference. Like, anybody who is open to hear about purpose, to hear about healing, to hear about intuition, they kind of have similarities.
Mm-hmm. And actually, everyone who is open to hear about that, they will understand, or they will um, look on the business side in a different way.
Yes. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
had at the recent retreat, I had a man who I have not met before, so I didn't have a relationship. And he is a type of a man, more like, you would call it a macho man.
Yeah.
But luckily, I had 3 horse seats. Before him, there was another man that was the first horse seat, like where you cry. And I mean, you've been to one, so you know what I do at the horse seats when people cry and they open up and they heal. So was luck of the draw, because they draw 1, 2, 3, that the first man who is in the healing arts was first and opened up. And then this man who felt a little bit more of a different type of personality, he opened up and did good work. So it's that willingness to open. I think we're kind of all the same.
No, of course. Like, we have common points, I think, for sure. And it's like your ideal client, I can say. It doesn't matter if the gender is man, woman, or other kind of.
Yeah, if they're willing to explore and if they're willing to be truthful and honest
Mm-hmm.
and open and feel the pain. Some men don't want to feel the pain, they don't want to feel the emotions, right? So that's it, they are not the people that I work with.
Yeah.
But I remember one, like in that group, there was a gentleman, he was in his 60s, and he had a store next to mine, next to where I had the office. He had a clothing store. He was an engineer, used to be chemical engineer, and he inherited the clothing store from his wife who passed from cancer. So he came to my groups, and he wanted to close the store but couldn't because he was sorry for the people. So he also kind of processed things out loud, and he was like so grateful and so open that he said, like, I never knew that he could transform that much. So
Mhm.
that was like a 60-year-old man, like
Yeah.
he was retired from his first career and doing that. So anyone who's open is open.
Yeah, and you can help them for sure. Irina, thank you very much for your time and kindness, first of all, to share all these great experiences and your path to go from engineering to a businesswoman. And at the end, please send a message to those women who are thinking to switch from a career to a business. What should they do to be successful?
The one thing I want to say is, like, if where you are doesn't fulfill you, if you feel in your heart that you can do more or different, being your work, being your business, being your marriage or relationships, you got to have that clarity that your first duty is to yourself, to your happiness, and to your connection, whatever you call it, with your divine, whatever religion or whatever you believe in, to your higher self. So if something is not right, have the courage to change it, because what you see on the other end is something that I cannot even explain. It's blissful, is pride in your own self. It's exploring more of who you are, like creativity. I didn't know I could be that creative. I didn't know I could be that inventive, and w- basically life is more about knowing more and more who you are. So take the journey, like don't stay stuck. If you're happy where you are, bravo. But if you're not happy, have courage, join something, join a group, join somebody, talk with someone, but have courage to change, because life is really not worth living stuck and depressed or unhappy or struggling. Life is meant to be joyful and thriving and creative. And it's not always rainbows and unicorns, but it's the growth and it's that progress that keeps me. I still feel like I'm very young, and I just feel like I'm just emerging. I don't feel anywhere that I'm done or that I have arrived. And it's keep growing. Don't stay stuck.
And you look very young, Irina, so it's good.
Yes, yes,
Thank you
yes.
very
But
much.
don't stay stuck. Nobody should stay stuck anywhere.
I hope the people who will watch this video in YouTube will have some comments as well. And I'm inviting them to go on your website to contact you and to ask more questions or more detail if they need, because
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
we'll put that free event that I have in the comments somewhere.
sure, for sure.
Do connect with me, connect with Victoria. She's also working with business people, and yeah, do something with your life. Do something with your life.
Because it's true, we need to enjoy. It's one journey, so we need to find it how we can grow, how to discover ourselves, and how to feel fulfilled.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
very much, everyone. Thank you, Irina. It was a pleasure to talk with you. And all the best and happy 10 years for Women of Success is the community which help the people to connect. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Victoria.